I've always been a pretty insecure person, and it's just been so dumb and so insecure, and I would struggle sometimes when we would go and see like Luke's brother and be around those people, because those people win shows by being beautiful and by having great bodies. How am I competing with that? You know, I'd show up and I would think that, like, well, why wouldn't Luke be looking at that girl? She makes money looking better than me. And that would like destroy me and destroy my time. And I had to ultimately say, one, Luke's been around this his whole life. Like,
you couldn't be less impressed.
If he wanted to be with that would have mattered when he started dating me. And it didn't. He didn't give a shit. But also, if I'm going to compete in this, I'm going to constantly be around it. He's going to be backstage with me, with people that might win over me. And is that what I need to think about in that moment? Or do I just have to know, Luke's got my back. I worked my ass off. We did everything we could right now. And so it's taken that insecurity away from me, because I no longer attach so much emotions of how I look. It's never any more of like, oh, that girl looks better than me, that blah, blah, blah. I used to not be able to like look or show Luke girls I know on Instagram because I would feel like kind of weird about it.
Because he'll leave.
Yeah. But now I'm like, dude, this girl's glutes are crazy. Did you see this?
If I'm a restaurant selling steaks, I'm not trying to show other people in my restaurant where they can get better steaks.
Exactly.
I get the mentality of it.
Exactly.
100%, right?
And it's so dumb because I'm competing in this and I'm not even good right now. Like, somebody's going to beat me. Like, that's fine. That's
There's
the
only
point.
one person who gets to say that they didn't lose.
Yeah.
And it's whoever won the Olympia, and she doesn't go undefeated all like.
Yeah, she was the first person to win it.
Right.
Could she win it next time? Maybe. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe she won't even want to.
Hell of a day.
Yeah, and so that has been really instrumental to me because I've taken the emotions away from how I look. I've decided I don't care that Luke can see other women, that he's seen other women in his life, but also
it's
that
tough to avoid.
Yeah, and he wasn't a virgin when he met me, so whatever.
Oh, how dare you?
Come on. But also being able to build that confidence in myself. Like my coach always told me, well, you can't control who shows up on show day. And I'm like, well, maybe. Maybe I could.
Maybe.
You don't know.
I could call him.
And I would kind of like stalk the girl's page for the first show I was in and see who was tagged and whatever and be like, oh. And then when I showed up, I was like, I heard that voice again. Oh, her glutes look better than mine. Or, she's probably going to win. Or, well, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And then I just had to be like, well, I'm here. I fucking got this far. There's no room to think that. Because, even the stress and the cortisol, that can change how I look right now. Yeah. Is it worth it? Like, you did all this work to just
you're gonna fuck it up here?
Yeah, come on.
You're gonna blow it in the last 5 minutes across the goal line? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, so I've been able to build the confidence in myself and also confident in being alone, because doing so much cardio, I'm so alone in my thoughts, which feels good. Like, I get to spend more time with myself and in the fight of like, I could quit right now. I could quit right now and make up for it tomorrow or something, but the thought of knowing I can stick this out. I'm a go person. I can finish it. It could suck and I could still finish it. But at the end of that, I know that I did it. And that makes tomorrow easier.
Yeah. Well, and like for me, starting to add more endurance cardio training in, which as a lifter and especially strength athlete like we've both been,
mm-hmm.
It's so far out of bounds.
It's so weird.
Of like, when I'm going to do this for an hour.
Yeah.
I hate this. I'm bored. Meh. I've never done it and been bummed I did it.
Right.
Ever.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. And it's still fucking amazing to me that voice of resistance will still pop up in my head and be like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
And like, we shouldn't. It doesn't matter. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, we were fine yesterday. We were happy. We finished this and it was great and we talked about it and you were like, yeah, we feel great. My body's nice.
Yeah.
Next morning, I don't want to.
I don't want to. And you're like, come on. You just got to get there.
Dude.
Just
like,
show up.
You don't get a vote anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that voice,
it
doesn't get a vote because it's never fucking honest.
Yeah.
And dude, and I hear that with what you're saying about just those changes in feeling about your body and that comparison
mm-hmm.
that you were constantly living in.
Mm-hmm.
One of those great quotes, I think it's Mark Twain, and it's comparison's the thief of joy.
Mm-hmm.
And how incredibly true that is. And we all do it. It doesn't matter what levels you're at, man. Like, that feeling you have, like, I've had it with inviting some guests to come to the podcast because I don't feel like this is enough.
Right.
That I'm embarrassed by it compared to what their thing is or whatever else, or my building or where it's located. There's always going to be some other level that should make you uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that I think that's a bad thing anymore as much as it needs to be recognized as a feeling and decide what I want to do with it. Is it real?
Mm-hmm.
Or have I fucking fabricated it?
Absolutely. With everything. I mean, even you could say that about hunger because we're such impulsive human beings and people constantly ask, well, how do you manage cravings when you're on your period? I sit with it and I don't have chocolate in the house. Like hunger is an emotion that I can tell myself, I ate today. I'm not dying. Go for a walk or go read something and you won't probably feel that in a minute. Like having control over like impulsive emotions and being able to step back and think, is this real? Like exactly what you're saying.
So, I mean, even with that time and with prep and like the amount of, I don't know, consistent effort and dedication it takes to do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And at least as an athlete, be able to say like, I did my job.
Yeah.
But that's all I can be asked to do is everything my coach said.
Yeah.
Right. And man, with doing that and having that confidence of like, oh, I did show up for myself. I came in, I did the work, I did these things. And it's still trying to argue with you. Like that voice still wants to show up and do it. Man, I guess I love hearing that you're slowly finding the confidence in you with more alone time and more activity and more time for mindfulness and more time to recognize things and emotions differently. Especially the hunger one's a really interesting one.
Yeah.
And since I've lost weight, I consider that like my perception of the feeling of hunger is different.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily mean I need to take action.
Yeah. Right.
Right. Like,
well, it's like anger. I can initially, I mean, that's a big one. That's a big thing I've learned. I can initially feel things like you were saying the other day, the thought's going to creep up. It's just what I do with the thought after and with that emotion. And with anger, we can get real pissed off at somebody like slamming in front of us and driving or, you know, whatever. But if I sit with that emotion and be like, well, it's just part of the day.
That's it.
Like, it's okay. I don't have to give any more to that.
No.
Yeah, I mean, from that retreat that we had, that guy kind of talking about that with the whole, just like, the whole 5-minute thing and, you know, essentially like something happening, you know, you bitch for 5 minutes, you set a timer, bitch for 5 minutes after it, you just say, can't change it and fucking move on with your day.
Yeah.
That was his strategy.
Really cool,
he talked to us about part of his morning routine. Guys, Hal something or other wrote a book called My Miracle Morning on his morning routine, and incredible book, great story. And he was saying that was something he had implemented years ago from a sales job he had where the guy basically is like, things are going to fall through and things are going to go bad. Set your clock for 5 minutes and bitch all you want. But when it's done, I can't change it. And we go forward.
I love that.
And he said, what I've developed over the years of doing that is I set my clock and I go to bitch and I say, I can't do anything about it. And I realize I have 4 minutes left. And he's like,
okay,
cool. Do you know what I mean? And like, yo, what a more valuable thing than just continuing to hold on to something you can't change or want to bitch about like, well, this is the reason. Like, yo, bad shit fucking happens. It's a bummer.
Right.
But everyone you're competing with also has the exact same bullshit showing up.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what level they're at or what their resources are, anything, there's still bullshit.
Yeah, and there's nothing that I can do to make it better or worse.
Right.
With bodybuilding, you know, I've realized as a kid I went through a lot of trauma that taught me a lot of really valuable things that are integral to the person that I am today. It's made the strongest parts of me. And with bodybuilding, I've been able to realize kind of like how close can I get to the fire without getting burnt with all of the things that I struggle with, like with the insecurities and being on my own and with the food things. And, you know, posing feels fucking embarrassing. Like you're wobbling around, so like somebody's watching you look stupid, and like it just feels.
What do I have heels on for?
Yeah,
right
it
now?
just looks like an embarrassing thing to do. And I even remember like getting on the stage for the first time and being like, "Is this cringy?" Like thinking, am I really doing this right now?
I would too.
Yeah, like should I really even, you know? But yeah, really just how close can I get to the fire without letting it burn me, with all of the things I struggle with. And it's been awesome to spend time there of like, what sucks? Like, I can't, like with the insecurity of seeing other women, I can't control that. And Luke's going to see other women. I can't control if, Luke wouldn't, but I can't control if he were to even cheat on me.
No, you can't.
What's my role there?
You're right.
If he's talking to somebody on social media, I'm not the person that goes through his phone. Right. And if he's doing that,
what a waste of energy.
What if he's deleting it? I can't ever do anything about that. I can only control what comes after and how confident I can be in myself. And that's kind of the rule of thumb. If that's
what he's interested, hey man,
yeah,
then this ain't what you're interested in,
right?
And that's cool too.
And the same thing being on stage, like if the judges like that person, I could either be upset about it or I can be like, thanks for the feedback. That helps me when I go to the gym because right. I do this because I'm enjoying it. Like I want to be the best. I want to win. But these moments of learning more about myself and where I need to improve to be a rock solid human being and be happy, that's been the best part of it.
Yeah. I fucking bet. Not to mention, the confidence that comes from holding that diet and getting to that level of conditioning of being able to unlock something for yourself of, if you show that photo of you on stage competing to powerlifter you who has body issues, get the fuck out of here. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? That's an impossibility. You did something that a former you calls impossible.
Right.
It's different when you start doing impossible shit. You're like, oh, so what's actually impossible?
Right. And that has flowed into other aspects of my life and my business because it's shown me, hey, there are a couple things that you need to do day in and day out. There's a routine that you have to set and expectations you have to reach each day. And that's the recipe for success. But you've got to lay out the plan. And knowing that I can get in a routine, I function in certain ways. Like I'm eating every 3 hours, I sleep this amount. If I apply that kind of, routine and thought process to my business, things can go well. It's just a matter of creating that routine. And I've been able to see that thrive. And even that like impossibility of like, well, it wasn't impossible and it wasn't fucking magic. It was just steps. And I can do that with everything in my life.